What is going on, guys? It is Wrestlelamia here, back with another video. A crown jewel is just days away, but Raw had lots in store last night as the semi-finals for the King of the Ring and Queen's Crown tournaments continue. Join us now as we look at this week's edition of Raw, as well as the wildest news stories and rumors you need to know, including Alexa Bliss teases a new look. Is the Undertaker at crown jewel? Fox don't want Charlotte Flair, and much more. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for daily wrestling videos, and follow us on Facebook for exclusive lists. As always, we won't recap the matches, but just provide you with the good, the bad, and the downright ugly. As always, we start off with the good as number 1, Xavier Woods' wowing win. Could there be a new day coming for Xavier Woods, the talented New Day performer whose singles abilities have been largely ignored until recently? Well, Woods' performance in the King of the Ring tournament are a reminder that he's a talented singles star, and now it's time to see whether the WWE feels he is worthy in pushing in solo action, much like the promotion did with Woods' New Day teammates Kofi Kingston and Big E. Woods vs Finn Balor in the finals at the Crown Jewel should be amazing, and New Day fans will be eager to see whether Woods emerges as this year's King of the Ring winner. Number 2, main event magic. Last night's Raw featured a true main event as Raw Women's Champion Charlotte battled Bianca Belair in a classic encounter. Charlotte played her heel role well in the lead up to the match, complaining about a conspiracy against her as she has to defend the title again. Bianca Belair played her role as a confident babyface too, with the EST reminding Flair of her wins over both Bayley and Sasha Banks. The match was everything fans expected from these two, but the ending, well, that's another story we'll get onto later. But that was the good. What about the bad is number 1, another dumb DQ finish. Last night's well-booked and well-wrestled bout between Flair and Belair could and should have been a classic. The fans were clearly invested in the match as it progressed, but then everything collapsed with a ridiculous ending. Regrettably, the finish killed everything as Charlotte grabbed a chair, blasting Bianca with it and earning a DQ. Naturally, the story was that Flair was afraid of losing and wanted a quick exit, but it was still a disappointing end to the main event. The WWE only made things worse with the abrupt nature of the finish. Last night's Raw aired in Sacramento, California. Yeah, the same place as 2019's Hell in a Cell, where the Hell in a Cell match between Rollins and The Fiend ended via a ridiculous referee stoppage. What does Vinnie Mac have against fans in Sacramento? Number 2, Jeff Hardy loses to Theory again. A long-time WWE fans will remember former announcer Gorilla Monsoon saying a wrestler went to the well once too often when it came down to doing the same move over and over. Unfortunately, the writers, or Vince McMahon, haven't learnt this lesson as the Red Brand runs the same matches over and over again. Last night's Jeff Hardy vs Austin Theory rematch was one rematch too many, as it's done nothing for Jeff or Austin Theory, who rumor has it is in for a big push. The only redeeming part of this program is that Jeff is moving to SmackDown, so fans won't have to see another rematch between the two. Number 3, 2 telephone tough guys. Our last night's segment building up the Bill Goldberg vs Bobby Lashley at Crown Jewel match was as weak as you can get. The idea of 2 tough guys trash talking each other over a satellite link is absolutely ridiculous, and it's a terrible way to book the go-home version of Raw. Granted, Dollar Bill's TV appearances are extremely limited, but why didn't they use one for the go-home episode rather than stick with a lame-o confrontation? This was a short-sighted move and a reminder that Raw's writers have a weak grasp on long-term booking. Number 4, can they coexist? Last night's team-up of McIntyre and Big E was another awful example of the can they coexist trope, which the WWE seems to book every single week. There are many reasons why this trope needs to die, and chief among them is that it's been run into the ground, but let's look at just one reason why it doesn't work. Big E and Drew McIntyre are supposed to be babyfaces. The idea being that while babyfaces are highly competitive, they follow the rules and do not give in to an ego. Otherwise, of course, they portray heels. There are occasional exceptions, but it's difficult to swallow the idea of Big E, who promotes positivity, and Drew McIntyre, who's been portrayed as honourable during his current babyface run, losing their minds and failing to work together. And number 5, Doudrop vs Zelina Vega. Really? The Queen's Crown tournament has largely been a disappointment so far, so perhaps it's expected that the finals would feature an unlikely situation of Doudrop and Zelina Vega battling for the crown. Vega has no business being in the finals given her current wrestling ability, but the WWE obviously feels her ability to get over as a heel trumps any lack of wrestling skill. Of course, we're not saying that she can't wrestle, but just pointing out that her skills are about the same as Carmella, another person who doesn't belong in the finals. As for Doudrop, she seems like she has potential, but nothing that makes her like she should jump ahead of established stars like Liv Morgan or Shayna Baszler. Now, there was nothing downright ugly on Raw, but how much more can fans take of a show that continues to go nowhere? The red brand is like a car spinning its wheels in the mud as it digs itself deeper and deeper every week. But what did you guys think of Raw last night? Let us know in the comments down below. Now, let's move on to the news. Now, first story looks at a big push in store for a Raw star. Is current Street Profits star Montez Ford about to get a sensational singles push? Well, that's a rumor that's been going around, and the story appears to be picking up steam as the site Give Me Sport is exclusively reporting. Sources have told Give Me Sport that there are many within WWE, with several of those being people of influence, who believe that Montez Ford could be a high star for the company. Ford's recent one-on-one match against Universal Champion Reigns was reportedly used as a test for Ford's ability to work a big match, a test he passed with flying colours. The report from Give Me Sport also suggested that the Profits were drafted to Raw, so Ford could be with his wife Bianca Belair, who's also been drafted to the Red brand. We've been told this was partially because the WWE tries to keep real-life couples on the same roster, with Belair being moved over to Raw, but also because higher-ups feel as if Ford has more top talent to work with on the Red brand. Now, this report shouldn't be seen as the WWE marginalizing Ford's partner Angelo Dawkins. According to the story, Dawkins has also earned praise, particularly for his willingness to work hard to improve his in-ring performance. Would you guys like to see both Ford and Dawkins get a singles push, or should they stay as a tag team? Let us know in the comments down below. Next up is The Undertaker appearing at Crown Jewel. Now, there's a wild story going around that The Undertaker might show up at this Thursday's Crown Jewel event. Now, the WWE is always trying to please the Saudi Arabian government by featuring WWE legends at its supercard. However, it appears that this story is a misunderstanding. According to Dave Meltzer and WrestleTalk's Liam Wynnard, the source of the rumor has been some footage of him that has circulated on social media for Taki Al-Sheikh, the chairman of the board of the General Entertainment Authority. However, it turns out the video is actually from 2019, so there doesn't actually seem to be anything to the rumor. Now, while Taker could show up, it would make more sense for the WWE to hype his appearance rather than a surprise one. Next up, Fox doesn't want Charlotte Flair. SmackDown saw a number of trades from Raw, with one of the biggest being Raw Women's Champion Charlotte moving to SmackDown and SmackDown Women's Champion Becky Lynch moving to Raw. However, Ringside News is reporting that the trade hasn't been seen as a good thing by everyone. Ringside News was told that Fox has been trying to get Charlotte Flair on SmackDown since their deal started. She was heavily featured during Fox promos for SmackDown prior to their debut on the network in the hopes that she would be Team Blue. But whilst Fox may have been initially happy in getting Charlotte, the Ringside News story suggests backstage reaction may be different. A tenured member of the creative team told us that Flair and Lynch trade was a popular point of discussion this week, especially how Raw gets Becky, who everyone likes, and SmackDown gets Charlotte, who's not popular behind the scenes. Next up, Alexa Bliss teases a new gimmick. It looks like the rumors of Alexa Bliss adopting a new gimmick could be true. Bliss, who's been working a Fiend-like gimmick with mixed success, recently tweeted a gif of her that some fans see as a hint that she's going back to the character she played before the Fiend turned her into his devilish disciple. One of the most interesting aspects of any change will be whether Bliss plays a babyface or a heel. What do you guys think? Should she be a heel or a face? Let us know in the comments down below. And finally, Edge ripped and ready to rumble. Now, a recent Instagram post from Edge shows wrestling's Rated R superstar is ripped and ready to rumble. Edge posted a pic from the beach showing him looking fit, along with the following caption: "Found my own little private beach today. Mini vacation done. Battery charged. Time to get to work." Edge has a huge Hell in a Cell match against Seth Rollins this Thursday in Saudi Arabia, as both men have a win over each other, and now they're vying to see who the best of the best is. Edge also has revenge in mind following the kayfabe injury inflicted on him by Rollins, as well as Rollins invading his own home. But there you have it, folks, a review of this week's Raw, as well as the wildest stories and rumors you need to know. Be sure to leave your comments down below, and I'll see you next time with some more wrestling content.